Tracey D. Armstrong, an educator, coach, and motivator with a passion for transforming lives by transforming minds. Her expertise and experience have enabled her to establish and grow her own ventures, including Prosperity in Motion Cheer Company and Consulting, Motivational Moments with TDA Mentorship Program, and the powerful podcast, What's Your Mess? Mental, Emotional, Social Status of Life. She recently released her debut book, The Power of the P's, Principal P's to a Productive, Prosperous, and Purposeful Life. Today, she'll be sharing from her book some of her insight and strategies to help you build a stronger, more confident you with her message, Empowered Living, from self-sabotage to self-empowerment. Please join me in welcoming Tracey D. Armstrong.
Empowered living. From self-sabotage to self-empowerment. What does that really look like? What does empowered living really look like? What does empowered living even feel like? Am I living an empowered life? Are you living an empowered life? These are the first few questions that we're going to discuss today as we journey through this empowerment movement. Because the goal for me today is to help you understand the power that you have within and to help you unleash that power so that you can achieve a higher level of living. Because many of you will say, no, you're not living an empowered life. But then some of you will say, yeah, I am living the life that I want to live. So the question for those of you that say you're not living an empowered life, ask yourself this: why not? Why aren't you living the empowered life that you were created to live? And for those of you that say, yeah, I'm good, I'm living the life that I want to live, I want you to ask yourself this. Don't tune me out yet. Ask yourself this question: are you living the life you truly desire at the level that you truly desire in all areas of your life, including your faith, your family, your finances, or your future? And if you're not living at the level that you desire, please stay tuned. Okay? Now, my hope is to encourage you, to engage you, to empower you to live your life to the fullest, walking in your created purpose, tapping into all of the power that has been placed inside of you. Now, I want to pause and I want to take a quick survey. So I said I want you to be engaged. So there's a lot of participation in today's keynote. So please walk with me on this journey. The first question: did you know that you have been given the power to do something great in this world? Let me see. Anybody? Show of hands. Anybody? Okay, thank you for your participation. Appreciate that. Now, did you know that you have been empowered since the day you were born? Anybody? Next question. Now, did you know that you were created with a purpose to fulfill on this earth? Now, I had several of you to say yes. You said yes, you know you were created with the purpose. Yes, you know that you've been empowered to do something great. So then ask yourself again, how are you using that power? Are you using that power to fulfill your purpose on a consistently committed basis? Or are you comfortable sometimes? Are you complacent sometimes at the level that you are at right now? Because if you are you really living the empowered life that you were created to live? And that is the journey we're going to go on today. Now, for those of you that said, no, you never realized that you had that much power, or you said you didn't know that you were created with the purpose, let me explain to you what I mean. Let me explain what empowerment really looks like. Now, how many of you have ever had something that you were in charge of, something you managed, maybe a business, maybe an organization or a group, or it could even just be your household that you was in control of? All right, I see some hands. Thank you so much for your participation. Now, I asked that question because when you are in charge of something and when you have control of something, you have actually been empowered with that. Now, for me, I was in retail and restaurant management for 15 years. Yes, I said 15 years. I was a store manager at Starbucks, and I was given the authority and the power over my store. So I had the opportunity to manage it the way I wanted to manage it. I hired who I wanted to hire. I fired who I wanted to fire based on the needs of the store, of course. I took care of the customers the way that I saw fit for our store. I set the expectations of how I wanted the store to go. I made sure that things in my store went according to how I wanted it to go. But of course, I couldn't be there every single day. So I had what's called shift supervisors. For those shift supervisors, I empowered them with the authority to run the store according to what they knew my expectations were. I gave them the knowledge, I gave them the understanding, I gave them the power to do something. They had been trained, they had learned the expectations, and I entrusted them to fulfill the purpose that was put in them at that store. Now, you would say, well, what does this have to do with empowerment? This is exactly what I mean. Empowerment means authority or power given to someone to do something. And all of us have been empowered with such greatness that's inside of us. But what have you done with it? And I don't mean to sound harsh. When I was practicing this, I was practicing with my daughter. She was like, Mama, you sound kind of rough. And I said, okay, I don't want to sound rough. And I don't, she said, well, you sound like a mama. You sound like you fussing at people. I said, I think it's because I have such a passion within me for people to really tap into and understand the power that you have. And that's the first thing. Before we go any further, I want you to be aware of the power you have been given. So I'm going to go back to this old book that I've read. Some of you may have heard of this book, and some of you may have heard of this verse. It said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and we're going to give them, I'm paraphrasing, we're going to give them dominion over all of the earth and all of the animals on the earth. Now, I'm going to break this down. This means that we, mankind, you and I, were given dominion. That means authority, power, control over the fish, the birds, the livestock, over all of the earth, y'all. That's power. Have you ever thought about that? Now, I know some of you have read that verse many times. And have you ever really sat down and thought about it? Said you were given dominion over all of the earth. Did you know that you have dominion? And I said have, not had, not past tense. You have dominion. And if you say, yeah, I knew that. Okay, again, I asked the question, what have you been doing with the power that you have been given? And I know many of you, like I said, you've heard this. And I had to tell myself, this is saying mankind was empowered to manage the earth just like I empowered my team to manage the store. Think about it. I created and developed in them the image that I wanted my store to have based on my image and what I desired. I gave them the expectations. We have been given expectations of how to have dominion over this earth. Now, whether we do it or not, that's up to us. So when I am not there at the store, they know how to handle the situations when situations come up because they have been empowered to handle the situations. They have watched me work. And so they know how to handle and they know how to take care of things. Think about it, y'all. We have been empowered to handle situations that come up in life. We have been empowered to face any struggles, any challenges, anything. We have been empowered to make things happen on this earth. Now, again, I say to you, you have been given this power in life to make things happen. How are you using it? Now, living an empowered life is when you take that power that you have been given and you use it to empower yourself and to empower others. Now, if you heard the title, it says moving from self-sabotage to self-empowerment. First, let's talk about self-empowerment so you can understand really what you have power over. Self-empowerment is the process of taking charge of your own life, your own thoughts, and your own decisions. To control your life starts with controlling your thoughts. And you may have heard me, if you heard me speak, you know you've heard me say this. When you control your thoughts, you can control your emotions. When you control your emotions, you can control your behavior and your decisions in life, ultimately leading to controlling your consequences and the outcome in your life. That is a scientific fact. It is called the power of thought loop. In this loop, it pretty much tells you that your thoughts pretty much will determine your future. Now, going back to that old book that I was telling y'all about, it also says, for God had not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Now, I have read that many, many times. And I promise you, I did not have the revelation until recently that it was talking about our thoughts. When it said sound mind, think about it. A sound mind is having thoughts that are rational, thoughts that are stable. So if you've ever thought about that verse, I usually use that verse for, realizing that you don't have to fear anything. But think about it. Your fear comes from your thoughts. So when your thoughts are not sound thoughts, that's when we make irrational decisions. That's when we act in ways that we wouldn't normally act. Now, I know I am not alone in this. Have you ever had thoughts go through your mind that caused an emotion, and that emotion caused you to do some things and put yourself in some situations that you know you shouldn't have been in? Can I get a witness? Okay, thank you, my few people that's willing to be honest. Be honest with yourself, okay? Because I know I could tell you plenty of stories of not being in my sound mind. And I know others can too, but we don't have time for all of that because I have learned how to self-empower and to control my thoughts, but it still is a work in process. And it is a process every single day. But when you understand that you've been given the power, and that power enables you to control your thoughts, that power enables you to control your emotions. And when you tap into that power, you control the outcome of your life. And that is divine power. Think about it. Once you become aware of the power that you were created with and you understand that it is divine power, you have it within you. And guess what you're going to start to do? You're going to start to feel a little different. When you know the power that's within you, you will automatically build up your self-esteem and you will build up your confidence, because when you know you have the power within you to overcome anything, you walk a little taller. You speak a little louder. You act a little bolder. You're able to face the trials in life with a much better attitude. Instead of walking through life feeling defeated, you feel like you can do it. You feel like you can overcome. And this is the road to empowered living. This is how it feels to live an empowered life. The other part of self-empowerment is having the strength to face the trials and knowing that those trials are not going to last forever. And knowing that when you go through the trials in life, you don't have to struggle through them when you understand the power within. Let me tell you about some years ago now. And I was doing the math and I was like, man, Tracey, it's been about 10 years when I faced one of my biggest trials in life. And I told you I was in management for 15 years. I was with the J.C. Penney company for 12 years. Yes, I was in management for J.C. Penney's 12 years of my life. And out of nowhere, they made changes and I was laid off. Some of you may remember when J.C. Penney's did an overhaul and they changed the promotions and they changed the pricing and they changed the platform. They also changed the people. And I was one of those that got caught up in the riff of J.C. Penney's change. Now, let me explain. I was living life, y'all. I had been in management. I was making good money. And this left me with no income. I had just got the keys to a new home. I had purchased a really nice luxury car. I was a single mother. My child was only 8 years old. And at that moment, when they called me in that office, y'all, I was so devastated. It was as though they just pulled the carpet from under me because I was one of those loyal employees. I was that employee that came in rain, sleet, or snow. I was that employee that was there after the hurricane hit and I'm at the store cleaning up flood water. Okay. And so to be let go was like, OMG. But guess what? I knew that I could not just wallow in my misery. Was I upset? Yes. Was I, you know, did I feel like I had been slapped in the face? Yes. But I had to power up. I had to power up and I had to face that trial ahead of me. And let me tell you, I did not stay without a job longer than a month because I knew the skills that was in me. I knew what I had learned and I took that trial and that situation and it gave me strength. It empowered me to keep on moving. And that is how I've learned to face more adversity now, 10 years later. It gives you the strength and it gives you the power when another situation comes up. And then the last thing I want to tell y'all about self-empowerment, you got to have the courage to ask for help when needed. Some people will never get to their level of empowered living because of not wanting to ask others for help. Either pride, and I'm guilty, pride gets in the way a lot. And many of us go through life and we try to do it on our own. And we go through life and we struggle in silence. I have so many friends that'll say, well, I'll just do it myself. But guess what? In order to get to the next level of living in life, you're going to have connections. You're going to have people. You're going to have the courage to ask for help. And that is a part of self-empowering. You may say, well, how am I self-empowering if I'm asking someone else to help me? You're self-empowering because you're realizing that in order to gain more power, You have other people to help you with their talents, their gifts, their influence to use on your behalf. So when you are aware of that and you reach out and you don't let your pride get in the way, you can start being more empowered in your living. And I'm going to be honest, I literally just had this conversation with a close friend last week. And last week, you know, we're going to talk about the self-sabotager, but the self-sabotager will come in and will start to make you doubt some things. And I was talking to a friend and he says, you cannot do everything on your own, Tracey. You have so many things that you want to accomplish, and it is okay to ask for help. Because I was like, I don't want to ask anybody for help because I don't want to feel like I can't do it. Everyone, listen, if you have those thoughts, and I know some of you do, if you have the thoughts that you have to do it on your own, the top 1% of the country have figured that out. You cannot get into that top 1% on your own. They have used people, good ways and bad ways, to get to the top 1%. And it takes others, and it takes asking, and it takes people in order for you to get there. So now that you are aware of the power within, and now that you know what you can do, I need you to stop giving your power away. And what I mean by that, stop letting people get to you. As an educator, let me tell you, I have had to learn this because I cannot let my first period affect my whole day. If I have students in my first period, which I do, that want to try me, which I do, I cannot give my power to them. Because if I do, then I have just messed up the rest of my day. And that's what happens with some of us. Some of us, we give our power away for someone that has said something that we didn't like, or they did something that we didn't like, and we allow them to get under our skin, and we allow them to make us upset. As soon as you allow someone else to make you upset, you have just given the power of your thoughts away to them. And the reason I say that is because now what happens? You're thinking about that situation all day. You're thinking about, well, I should have said this. I wish they would. I wish they. So now you're not walking towards that empowered living. You have just given your power to someone who 9 times out of 10 is not trying to see you succeed. I'm just saying, your future is determined by your actions. And when you act out of character because of what someone else said or did, you have just given your power to them. Dramatic pause. And then the next thing, that self-sabotager. Stop letting yourself get to you. This is the self-sabotager that keeps many people from living an empowered life, especially the life they want to live. Like, you may have heard the saying, whenever I try to do good, evil is always present. Guess what? That evil is you sometimes. You are the one sometimes that actually stops yourself from getting to the next level. Think about it. Here's some examples. You may procrastinate on doing things that you know you need to do, but you put them off, even though you know it's going to help you get to the next level. You may be consistently late to work. That's self-sabotaging. This is the one a lot of us do. You may talk yourself out of your dream. You may talk yourself out of your dream because you think, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not as pretty as her. I don't talk as eloquently as her. Hey, guess what? Those are self-sabotaging words that stop you from achieving those dreams. And it slows you down from living that empowered life. If you're making excuses or you're using the what if this and what if that, that self-sabotager will stop you from really tapping into the power that you were created with. And this is why today In order to live an empowered life, we must move from the self-sabotage to the self-empowerment. And we want to create some actionable steps, some things that we can put in place to help empower you in all of the areas of your life. And so Grace has put a link in the chat, and it has a worksheet on it. And in that worksheet, you can follow along. You can do it now. You can do it when you get home. Are you at home already? However, whenever you have more time. Now, on the worksheet, it just goes through the different areas that you can self-empower with. And this, if I want to say, do you want me to pull it up on the screen or just go through it? Doesn't matter. I will just go through it so that you all can work through it as you please. So you would just write down one of your accomplishments or strengths that you're proud of. Then you will reflect on how that accomplishment makes you feel. You think about it. When you achieved a goal, how did it make you feel? Because if it made you feel good, then when you start feeling bad, think about the things that you've already achieved. That'll put a smile on your face. Share some of your accomplishments with someone and celebrate with each other. Professional empowerment, creating a vision board. I promise you, I have 3 vision boards in my room on my wall. Every morning when I wake up, I see the boards that I've cut out throughout the years. And I don't take the board down until I've actually manifested the things on there, or unless I've changed or altered my dreams. And then I'll create another vision board with some new dreams, and I may carry over some old dreams. And then what I've also done is created digital vision boards, because I do that with my class. So a digital vision board is, you just can create a Google slide or whatever, and you go and you pull the pictures and things that you want that will help you focus on achieving those goals. And then you will write down, pick one of the goals, write down the action steps that you can take to achieve those goals. And then share it with someone who you trust. Don't just tell everybody your dreams and your goals, but someone that you know that can work with you. And then the third one is community empowerment. You would write down names of people in your life who support you. You write down people who would encourage you. That way, when you're going through tough times, you have that list right there. I know that if I'm going through a tough time, I can go and call my auntie, and my auntie will give me a word of encouragement. Identify some professional associations or some networks. There's so many networks out there now, guys. That's one reason why I created Motivational Moments with TDA. I wanted it to be a network for people that can go on if they're going through something, or they need help going, getting to a next level. They can come on and we can motivate and we can support each other. So on the worksheet, you would write down an association that you can work with. And then the last part of the worksheet is the action and accountability. Write down a goal that you want to achieve in the next 30 days. And then identify an accountability partner, someone that you trust, that you can share your goal with, and that will help you stay on track. You would write that name down, and you would get in contact with that person, and you would say, hey, you are my accountability partner. This is my goal. Let's work together to achieve this goal. Can you please, when I am not on track, because I have an accountability partner, and every time when I don't work and do my videos consistently, he will tell me, oh, you must really want to stay at that school much longer. That gets me back on track. That's all he has to say. Oh, I thought you was trying to get out of. Enough said. I'm back making my videos. And so, with that being said, I really want you to remember that it is okay to stumble along the way. That is part of the process. On this road to empowered living, you're going to have some achievements, you're going to have some setbacks, but it's important to keep moving forward. Keep moving towards the goals. Keep moving towards the dreams, because you have the power within you to achieve everything and overcome anything that comes in your way.